With the Tyreek Hill contract now being official, we're going to break that down, and we're also going to look at where the Dolphins are in salary cap situation and where Tyreek Hill's contract stacks up against other wide receivers. So let's jump into this. What is up, Finn fans? Yes, it didn't take long for the Tyreek Hill contract to be available, but for some reason, I still don't have Connor Williams, and I still can't get Teron Armstead's contract, so I can't give you full breakdowns of those. But again, when we get it, I will. But I do have Tyreek Hill's. We're going to look at that. We're going to look at where the Dolphins are in cap space, and then I'm going to see where his contract stacks up against other receivers. So without further ado, let me minimize myself. Boop. And again, if you want to learn how to do this stuff, I'm going to start putting videos of tutorials and teaching how to use software and camera stuff and essentially my degree on the Patreon. So if you want to join the Patreon, you'll get a little perks there. So when we look at the salary cap here, Miami Dolphins are right here. They're sitting at around 7 million. League average is around 15 million, so that would be about up here by Pittsburgh. But they're all the way down at 7 million. I don't know if they're factoring in all the moves. I think they are, so I think this is where the Dolphins are sitting at. Again, they don't have a first, second round pick, so they don't need much when it comes to draft picks, maybe about 1 million or 2. But if we manage the roster, right? So if we cut players, and I think that that's what's probably going to start happening now. They're going to start cutting players that aren't going to be around or aren't a necessity. So say like they cut Eric Rowe here, they cut Jesse Davis here. These are ones that I kind of predicted the Dolphins would cut. Allen Hurns, you don't really need Allen Hurns anymore, especially with bringing in Tyreek Hill. Clayton Fejedelem, you can get rid of. Sathan Carter, you don't need another tight end. I'd probably get rid of him. I'd even get rid of Adam Shaheen. Again, I already talked about all this stuff. And Greg Little. Is there another one I would get rid of? You see where we jump up to, right? Total savings of 18 million. So we would jump up a good amount. I think if we're sitting at around 7, we would jump up to 25 million, which would really put us right back up here. We could still do a lot. When it comes to the Dolphins, like I've been hearing, they're not done. And I don't think they'll be done, especially if they make those moves. But let's finally look at Tyreek Hill's contract. So here I have Tyreek Hill's contract, right? 4 years, 120 million, 20.5 million signing bonus, 30 million average salary, which we'll get into that because he's going to, but not this year. 52.5 guaranteed at signing, so total guaranteed is a 72 because I think they took the signing bonus and then they took the guaranteed at signing. This year, he's only going to be costing the Dolphins $6.4 million. After this year, it jumps up drastically. Next year, he's going to cost the Dolphins $31 million. It's a pretty penny for Tyreek Hill next year. 31 million the year after that, 20. So if you can tell here, when it comes to, on the books, essentially, like there's not much you can do with Tyreek Hill, which hopefully he stays on the trajectory he's been on and just continues to stay good. You can't really make any moves until after the 4th year because, again, his cap hits 50 million, but the dead cap's 5, so you save about 45 million here. Actually, around here. So I think you get him for, 6 million this year, and you get 2 years because if you look at 2025, his cap hits 28 million, his dead cap is 10. So again, we'd save 18 million here. So it's another situation where it's a very good contract breakdown where, okay, for your first 3 years, you're going to get a big chunk of change. We're going to give you the $6 million this year, help us out to continue to build this team. Then you'll get the $31 million and the $24 million the next 2 years. And then we'll see where we go from there. We can either give you a contract extension, yada, yada, bing, bang, bing. Because again, you save about $18 million cutting him in 2025. You save even more in 2026. This would probably be the year if he continues to grow and do well. Maybe give him another year or two, because there's no way 50 million. There's no way. So it's a very good contract, and I like the way it's worded. I like the fact of him getting only $6 million this year, really helping the team out, and you could tell that he probably did that. You know, he was like, I want to play for you guys. I'm assuming, you know, if not, he wouldn't have agreed to be traded here. So I'll give you that savings, and then in the back end, you guys can help me out. Now, what I find interesting is this is 2020. This is this year, right? The most expensive wide receiver right now is Kenny Golladay. He's costing the Giants $21.1 million. Then it's Keenan Allen sitting at 19.2. Cooper Kupp is making 18. DeAndre Hopkins, Stephon Diggs. These are your top 10 being paid wide receivers, right now. Nelson Aguilar for the Patriots is getting $14 million. And if you look, I'll keep scrolling. Oh, there's Devontae Parker, 8.7. And there's Tyreek Hill. So Devontae Parker this year is getting paid more than Tyreek Hill. But let's look at what happens next year. If we upgrade it to next year, Tyreek Hill is being paid the number one wide receiver money. And then again, if we look at 2024, it probably is going to be Tyreek Hill again. He's getting paid the most money. And no, 2024, he goes down to 5th. And Michael Thomas, Mike Williams, DeAndre Hopkins, and Keenan Allen are getting more money than him. So next year is where he gets paid the most money. And then after that, he's actually not getting paid the most money. Let's check 2025, where the last of his guaranteed money really is there. Second most. You know, they really give Devontae Parker more. Again, to me, this isn't a bad contract at all when it comes to Tyreek Hill and when it comes to all that stuff. I like that he's only getting $6 million this year. I'm not against paying him $31 million, especially if Tua takes the next step and all that stuff. So I'm actually really happy with this contract. Again, we're sitting at about $7 million in cap space. We can go up to what I say about $25 million if we cut a certain amount of players, which some of them I can see happening, like Allen Hurns. Don't really need him now. Again, let me bring myself back up here so I can chat with you guys. Dolphins, again, I'm giving you a little bit of an inside source, which I don't have, but this is what I'm hearing. They're not done. Now, I'm hearing, we saw Barry Jackson, right? When I talked about that, I think that was yesterday, saying that they're not done with the offensive line, and then they might not be done in general. Now, they still have the 2 firsts, and that's the thing I love. The more I sat back and I thought about this Tyreek Hill trade, they only traded 1 first, and some Chief fans are really pissed that the Dolphins only traded 1 first for Tyreek Hill. And he's traded within the division, the conference, sorry, not the division, within the conference. Dolphins still have their 2 firsts next year, right? I think they still have their 2nd next year too. Yeah, they only give up a 4th and a 6th next year. They get their 1st, their 2nd, their 4th, and their 6th this year. So they still have their 2 firsts next year, and they still have their 2nd. They still can do what they need to next year, whether it's trade, whether it's do whatever. And I think that was very smart of Chris Grier not to give everything. They gave a lot. He gave 5 draft picks. Most of them were mid to late round draft picks. Gave him the 1st this year, which was 29th, and gave him the 2nd this year, which was 50th. Now, and I talked about this with Big O. We know Chris Grier. We know that he likes to wheel and deal, right? Last year, he moved back with the 49ers. Then he moved back up with the Eagles because he wanted Jalen Waddle. He wanted to get, a receiver to help out Tua. I wouldn't be surprised, and I said this when I was talking to Big O, and I even said this when I was on Alex's YouTube channel, which go check that out. Fantastic. That it would hurt me, but I wouldn't be surprised if they traded one of the corners that we have, whether it's Byron Jones or whether it's Xavier Howard. Now, I understand if people are like, that'd be dumb, because what's the point of trying to keep this defense together if you're just going to trade one of your corners? And I understand that. I don't want it to happen. I'm not telling you these are things that I want to happen. These are things that I'm just saying, don't be surprised if they do, so you're not, flip your whatever. But I wouldn't be surprised if one of them gets moved, especially Byron Jones. Let me look up Byron Jones' contract, because actually, let's look up Xavier Howard's contract, and then I'll look up Byron Jones' contract. Because if you look at them, Byron Jones' contract is a little bit more cap friendly. So I'm going to minimize myself again so we can look at those. So first is Byron Jones, right? Right now, 2022, this is where his biggest cap hit is going to be, of $16 million. But then after that, you look at, so if the Dolphins did trade Byron Jones, they probably could get a second, maybe a first, maybe a late first again, maybe, you know, send him to Tennessee, maybe send him to a team that is cap hungry. Dallas, I know they have Diggs, but, you know, a team like that, send him back to Dallas. That's hilarious. I didn't even realize that. But if you look next year, there's a $12 million savings because his dead cap is nothing next year. So this is a good team-friendly contract that you can definitely move. And if we look at Xavier Howard, he's in the same boat right now where this year it's big, right? It's a big hit. You know, it's 16 million cap hit, but then a dead cap of 20, so you lose a ton. But if you look at the next 2 years, there's not a lot. So both of these guys, if you look, are in good situations where they could be traded and get good value. Now, Byron's older by a year. X is 29, Byron's 30. So I wouldn't be surprised if one of those guys got moved to potentially make up for the trade of getting Tyreek Hill, them, or any type of move. So like I said, don't be surprised if more moves happen, whether it's trading away our pieces. Devontae Parker, you know, Devontae Parker's in a good situation. He's making about $8 million. He still can be somewhat of a used product. Send him to Baltimore. Obviously, don't send him to New England. That would be the stupidest thing they ever did. But send him to Philly, so whatever, and get like a third for him or something. And I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Greer starts wheeling and dealing and taking certain players. Those are the players I could see potentially getting traded. Devontae Parker, Byron Jones, Xavier Howard. Now, I'm not saying I want to. Again, I'm going to reiterate this again because I know for a fact in the comment section, why would you want to trade them? I'm not saying I would want to. I'm just trying to let you guys in on my brain, so if it does happen, you don't lose your mind. But like Devontae Parker, Adam Shaheen, I could see potentially being traded. Like I said, the corners I could potentially see getting traded. Christian Wilkins I could potentially see getting traded because he's due for a new contract. And again, I don't want to trade. I'm going to keep saying it because I know I'm going to get a comment. I don't want to trade him, but these are trade possible pieces that I could see happening. So, again, let me know, comment section, if there was anyone you'd want to trade, who would you trade? Also, what do you think about his contract? When more news breaks, you're going to get a video from me, straight from the phone. And then when I get a chance to sit down and record like this, you get the breakdowns and all that good stuff. But other than that, guys, it's getting crazy. This is the aggression. We wanted that aggression right away because we saw everyone else with that aggression right away. And we were like, we're just staying back. What are we doing? And Chris Greer's like, you got to let me wheel and deal. You got to let me do my thing. Well, I'm done overestimating Chris Greer. So it's crazy, but I will see you in the next video. But like usual, stay classy. And fins up.